How many of you are familiar with the famous saying by Simon Sinek, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it? This could be a coffee that works very much in line with that thought process. Here on Coffee with GPA. So if you really enjoy your coffee that you make at home and you would love to learn more about the incredible products that you have available to you on the market, then please consider subscribing. We'd like to bring you a review this week of La Melodia by Caffiniti coffee. One of the reasons that I feel that I've attached myself to this so much is down to the fact that Caffiniti truly believe in collaborative work, in unity between the coffee drinker and the farmer. Now, how do they actually achieve this? Well, one way is that they strongly believe in their own company's why, their belief system, why they do what they do. So Caffiniti actually believe that with the amount of coffee drank around the world, that this can truly bring a great deal of benefit to the farmer that produces that coffee, which would make a lot of sense. Now, in what way do they actually do this? Well, think about it this way. If you wanted to get your car fixed, you would take it to a mechanic because they know car engines perhaps better than yourself. So, if you was going to produce an amazing coffee and build your own company based on the coffee that you are buying in, surely you would go to the people that know it best. In this case, the farmers. So Caffiniti tried to develop their coffees in relationship with the growers, the farmers themselves. They know the soil, they know the climate, and they know the products better than anybody else. So why go anywhere else? Why invest your time anywhere other than at the root source of where this incredible product is actually created? Now, by working in tandem with the farmers, they're actually able to show the farmers how to get a better overall product, how to get more from that incredible bean that they grow, or those incredible cherries that they grow. As a result, the farmers will actually get a better price for that product and they don't have to live on hand-me-outs. Now, that is a really big thing. We live in a world now where we're so all consumed in where things are produced, what it comes from, the ethos behind the company. Do I share those values? Do I want to be associated with a brand like that? Well, in this case, Caffiniti are doing everything that they can to really bring an incredible product to the table. And La Melodia is no exception. Now, Caffiniti also work quite hard to ensure that the coffee they're producing works in a slightly more spectacular way. So they actually pair their coffees with food. Now, one thing that stood out to me about this particular coffee, La Melodia, is the fact that it's meant to pair really well with Gouda cheese. Now, with the flavour notes that you can expect, we're going to be seeing things like caramel, we're going to be seeing toffee, we're going to be also getting an acidity of green apple according to the actual bag itself. But also there should be some reflections in there of sugarcane. Now, this all sounds really tempting to me and it sounds like a fantastic exercise to give this a real shot. So, without any further ado, let's try the coffee and let's see if it's as good as it says it should be on the packet. So there we have one espresso. So what's the first thing that we get when we actually give this a real inhale? Well, actually, from this particular coffee, as it is a Colombian coffee, we get those early smells and those early intense fragrances of something quite chocolatey. But there is also a caramel flavour to that as well, which is really, really strong, but very, very good. Again, it just goes to show how good the Colombian coffees have been in this particular year. I think one thing that's really stood out for me this year is that the Colombian coffees really are absolutely fantastic. There's been such a huge uptake of incredible flavours from these. I've really, really appreciated the coffees that have come from this region. I've had some spectacular ones this year, and this is definitely one of those ones that goes way up there with some of the best that I've had. So, let's see what we actually get on the palate. Now, the first thing that I get from this, I say caramel is definitely there, but for me it tastes almost a bit toffee-like. There's an element in there that's quite a bit perhaps sweeter than caramel, Maybe that's from those sugarcane type flavours that are in there. But it's really lovely actually. And I think one of the main advantages of this is that as it feels to be sort of cooling back, those sweet notes actually intensify. But the way that it almost goes down as you're sipping it, it's very, very delicate and very smooth, which is a fantastic thing, especially when you've got, you know, a great coloured espresso with an incredible crema on top of it. They can sometimes be very bold in the way that they pop out of the cup itself, but super drinkable coffee. When they say about food pairings with things like dark chocolate and with those cheeses, I really understand where they're coming from with this. We spend a lot of time thinking about pairing certain wines or even now certain ales and beers with different foods. Coffee should be no exception. Coffee is as thought out of a process, as thought out of a type of product where we should be able to do exactly the same things. And I totally understand where they're coming from this. It's very, very good. Something I guess for me was a little bit of a learn with this coffee was the fact that the bag related to a green apple acidity. I've got to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect from that. I'm hoping that as time goes on, my palate will definitely start to develop those understandings and those kind of key acidities a bit more. But actually, once you've had a real taste and you've had a chance of having a few kind of tries of this coffee as well, I can start to see what they mean by that. You're first of all greeted by this really sweet sugarcane type of top note with that caramel kind of core flavour. But as that's gone down, you then get that acidity that I would imagine you get from like a Granny Smith apple, a real, you know, sharp green apple. I do get that. It's quite interesting actually. It's funny how you can look at a bag and read a list of potential taste notes and then actually get an idea as to what that means. It's quite exciting really. And again, that colour's fantastic. It's got a lovely dark colour with a rich crema on top. It's just a very, very fresh coffee and a very enjoyable taste too. So there we have our review of the Caffiniti La Melodia. Another absolutely winning coffee on every level. The flavours are fantastic, the colour is great, and as that espresso cools down, the change of the flavours and the pronouncement of those sweet flavours is so, so inviting. But for me, one of the real winners in this particular coffee, in this particular brand, is that reason as to why they do what they do. And I really wish them every success with that because it's so important. We see big tech companies now this week talking about their products being made with 100% recycled aluminium, and there's lots of companies now that are talking about going green and thinking about carbon footprint. But I think ultimately there's a human connection with all of this, and if they as a company are able to truly enrich the lives of other people as a direct result of their help, they can produce a better product and ultimately help their families for potentially years and decades to come. Caffiniti, this was a delicious coffee and I salute you to the work that you do. So if you do like the sound of this coffee, and believe me, the taste is absolutely fantastic, then check out caffiniti.co.uk to grab yourself a bag now and learn a little bit more about how they work with the coffees and with the food pairings as well, and see if it's something that will make a big difference to the next time you have people over or your morning coffee each day. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because this was a really enjoyable, really enjoyable review to do, and the work that they're doing is truly inspirational. So please check them out, caffiniti.co.uk. I really look forward to seeing you again next time on Coffee with GPA. See you soon.